The Indian aviation sector is really getting very spicy because of new players coming in, the latest development that is happening in the aviation sector. These all changes are occurring, and this is a good sign for the aviation sector. But specifically talking about Akasa Air, so some positive development has taken place. They have got the new aircraft. But what is the roadmap ahead? So talking on all these important aspects, joining with me is Mr. Vinay Dube, CEO of Akasa Airline. So thanks a lot for talking to us.
It's a pleasure, Samir. Happy to be here.
So many congrats that you received your first Boeing aircraft. And now when we can expect that it is going to land in India?
Thank you. Yes, we're very excited. We took possession of this on the 15th US West Coast time. And our expectation is that it will be here in India on the 21st of June. So just another few days.
Okay, and now, so you have got your first aircraft at 21st of June that you are expecting. So, talking about the commercial operations, by when we can expect the start of the commercial operations, you are sticking to the targeted timeline or some revision in the same?
No, we're sticking to our targeted timeline. It is the end of July, and looks like things are falling into place for us to be able to meet that target.
So for any flight, so the ticket booking window, by when we can expect it will be open up, and then one can actually book a ticket for Akasa Airlines?
Yeah, our expectation is that from very early July, so maybe the first week of July is when we expect to open up our flights for sale.
Okay, so we are Akasa Airline in the sense is entering at a time because you have seen the latest the price revision in the ATF. 16% hike, reaching to a record high level. Do you think so that it is a very competitive time? It is very challenging time that you are entering the Indian aviation, and the entire model that you are opting for might be a bit challenging for you to sustain?
Yeah, so Samir, I'll say whether fuel is at 120 or fuel is at 50, the aviation industry, not just in India, but around the world, has always been competitive. And I'd say it's it's for the benefit of the consumers. The consumers should feel happy that that the aviation industry is as competitive as it is. But this is not something that worries us. As you know, we've got a new age Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. This is one of the most fuel efficient aircrafts in the world, one of the greenest aircrafts in the world, and we will have the youngest fleet of these new age aircraft. So as far as fuel price is concerned, we feel quite confident that that we will be able to compete no matter where the fuel price is.
Talking a bit more about the same, I'm asking this because of a reason that now many airlines, they are echoing related to the airfares. They are suggesting that they have got no other option but to increase the airfares. This definitely means that in coming days, that is also going to be an option for the new players as well, that they have to fit themselves into a bracket where the airfares actually make the flying more sustainable for them. So your comment on the same?
Yeah, I mean, look, airfares are not something that the industry does collectively. So as a new entrant, there's no fitting, there's no collective, there's no, we each can price ourselves any way we want. And, I'm here to tell you that at Akasa, we hope to have very affordable fares for our consumers, as well as, a level of customer service that is warm, and friendly and comfortable. So we hope that that we will be able to, provide our consumers with a very, very good travel experience at extremely affordable fares.
Okay. So now, since you have scheduled that you will get your first aircraft by 21st of this month itself, following this, the delivery of aircraft, that you can throw some more light on the thing?
Sure. So, as you know, we are going through a very rigorous process to get our air operators permit. You need the aircraft to actually land and go through proving flights before you can get an air operator's permit, all under the direct supervision of our regulator, the Director General Civil Aviation. So we're going through that process. And so after the aircraft arrives, we expect to take a couple of weeks for us to be able to go through what is required to get our air operator's permit. But again, these are things that we don't control. These are things under the direct supervision of the DGCA, and if we fulfill all of their very rigorous requirements, then we expect to get an air operator's permit soon after, which then leads us to an ability to publish our schedule and open our schedule up for sale, which is the reason why I said, maybe in early July, we will hopefully get our air operators permit and be able to open our schedule for sale, which will be another very, very exciting milestone for us.
Now, why I ask this question in terms of fleet size for a simple reason that now many players, even Akasa, might be looking related to the regional connectivity. So when we talk about the regional connectivity, where Akasa sees itself in terms of expansion, in terms of getting new routes. So would like to know the route or the sector that you are currently looking at.
Sure. I think for Akasa, we will be looking as far as our sort of core competency is concerned to be able to serve sectors between metro cities and tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We've got a 737 MAX aircraft. It's a mid-sized narrow body. We will not be able to, with that aircraft, fly into an extremely small city, maybe with a population of 300, 400, 500,000. Of course, I'm equating population with size of runway and the length of runway. And so our expectation is that we will focus on the metro cities to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which, as you know, has a massive potential ahead of us in the years to come.
Okay. As a general, would like to understand what changes do you really see in the aviation sector, sitting the last 3 months? What sort of big changes that you have taken into account in the entire aviation sector?
I think that this is a hard one to answer because I don't have a crystal ball. But I'll tell you that I'm extremely pleased with the progress that we have made in the aviation sector to date. And when we look at progress, by the way, I wouldn't look at 3 months. You need to look at, let's say, the last 20 years. Today, you have more Indians traveling, than ever before. Today, you've got, a schedule offering where you can fly between cities, even the smaller cities, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. You've got, prices that are extremely affordable. And you've got a level of service and reliability that you haven't seen before. So I think we will continue to see the infrastructure develop. You'll continue to see, and I'm talking about the aviation infrastructure. I think the government's done a lot. I think statistically over the last 10 years, we've almost doubled the number of airports we have, including some, marquee projects that are still to come around, Navi Mumbai. But I think we've seen a remarkable amount of progress in the last decade. And my expectation is that we'll continue to see that rapid change of pace in the aviation sector for the next 10 years ahead of us.
So some stats or some data that have been shared by various, the agencies, even FICCI have also suggested that the aviation sector will have a tremendous growth. They have projected that by 2033, the average flying could be somewhere close to 959 million passengers. Do you think so that it is really going to happen? Are you optimistic about the same?
I am extremely optimistic, and I absolutely believe that is, in the ballpark of the type of growth that we should expect. My view is that, it could be a lot more. And by the way, this is not a story of, Indian aviation. This is a story of India. Aviation is simply reflective on, of the state of the economy we have. And if you look at, the growing middle class, if you look at, our increase in GDP, I think there's, sky's the limit for us. And so absolutely, I look to, to see that kind of, potential increase in aviation demand over the course of the next 10 years. I'm very optimistic.
But I'm sure that you cannot neglect the other challenges as well that are actually currently prevailing. I'm not talking about the long-term part, but you see the inflation part, you see the global scenario. This will have some sort of impact on the flying numbers as well. And currently that we are seeing that the COVID numbers are once again rising.
Right.
So,
right. So I'll tell you, look, there are many things that affect aviation, right? Health affects aviation, price of fuel, foreign exchange, geopolitical situations, etc. So aviation will always have these little, micro effects from a whole bunch of macro activities around the world. So absolutely 100%, there's no denying that. However, over a 10-year period, and by the way, you can look at any 10-year period in the last 40 years of India's history, you will always see a very, very high increase in overall demand, right? So for example, someone could have pointed out to the global financial crisis in 2008, 2009. Someone could have pointed out to the fact that Brent was above $100 a barrel for the time between, I think, 2011 and 2014.
Exactly.
It really doesn't matter. Through every period in time, you might have a little micro blip on aviation demand, but India, and like I said, this is a story of India Inc., it is so exciting that over the course of the next 10 years, it almost doesn't matter what happens. You will continue to see a long-term rise in air travel demand here in India.
And the steps taken by the government or the ministry, like the regional connectivity scheme, like the airport privatization, or even the national policy that they came up for the aviation sector, are these policies or the steps really acting as a catalyst, or something still more to be done?
Samir, 100%. I mean, just take our example. I personally come from a very middle class background. We are not sort of moneyed people, but I have had over the last 18 months an ability to dream about starting an airline in a highly regulated, capital-intensive structure. And today we have taken delivery of our first aircraft to be able to realize that dream. So when you talk about the changes being made by our government to progress aviation, I think we're a prime example. A relatively ordinary citizen like myself, could we dream about starting an airline 25, 30, 40 years ago? Absolutely not. And so I would say, I feel very optimistic about the kind of changes that we're seeing here, supported by the government today. And I'm like I said, I'm very optimistic that investment and focus will continue in the future.
One view I would like to understand, your analysis regarding the airfares part. I'm talking about the turbine fuel. So the government has been trying, the center has been trying to bring the ATF under the ambit of GST. But on the other hand, the states are not falling on the same page. But interestingly, the aviation minister has brought almost around 27 states or UTs to get the VAT on ATF reduced to less than 5%. Your advice to states or your analysis on the same, that what could really be done to get the flying more affordable or sustainable?
Look, I think that what our aviation minister has been able to achieve in terms of reduction in VAT for a number of states, I think is amazing. And all I would do is urge for the other states to take examples from the states that have reduced their VAT and really hope that we see that kind of reduction from the remainder of the holdout states. Because I think at the end of the day, the price of the ticket, is something that we need to continue as a nation to make more affordable for our consumers. And given that fuel is the largest input cost that the airline has, I would love to, for us to be able to see that go down so that we can pass some of those benefits on to the consumers.
And my last question would be more sort of a futuristic. Would like to understand that currently you are there in the, targeting the passenger segment. Could it be a possibility that coming 3 or 5 years down the line, then we can see Akasa into cargo operations as well? Because cargo is another interesting area where, see many players are actually exploring themselves. So can we see in the cargo segment, Akasa could make some sort of development in the coming year?
Yeah, so I will answer that quite directly, Samir. I'd say that one of the other benefits of a Boeing MAX 737 is that it has, in this particular case, an unparalleled ability to carry cargo at 3 tons. So with 72 aircraft, we've got an ability to carry over 200 tons of cargo, on every single sort of flight that we have, and across a day, one has 7+ flights. So there's thousands of tons worth of cargo that we can carry on the belly of the aircraft. And my view is that we will, fully intend to have an extremely strong cargo division. But at this point in time, we're focused on filling the belly of the aircraft that we have today, as opposed to looking at freighter, full-purpose freighter aircraft.
And on a lighter note, any specific timeline that you have set for yourself? Because we have seen that now Jet is also preparing itself to enter the skies, make a comeback. Air India. entire division is there. So in terms of profitability, do you think yourself that by very soon, that maybe 3 or 5 years, by when you see yourself Akasa into a profitable segment, getting the entire airline in a profitable book? What's your take on this?
Yeah, so Samir, this is one where I'll tell you that we are focused on our consumers right now. We are focused on our employees and serving them. We've spent the last 18 months setting up the infrastructure for the airline that requires us, to be able to serve our consumers and our employees well. We think we've done that and created a cost structure that is extremely competitive. And when you put together an extremely competitive cost structure with the consumer focus that we have, my view is that we will be profitable. Now, I'm not going to go here out on a limb and be able to forecast exactly when that's going to happen. But honestly, I wouldn't be in the sector if I wasn't here for the long run, and for the long run, in terms of building profitability into the robustness of our operation. So I'm optimistic on that as well, Samir.
My lots of good wishes to Akasa Airlines, to you, Mr. Dube, and we hope so that your plans will truly, that will be implemented, and it will bring a good flying experience to the customers as well. Really, thanks for talking to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.